Next question. Jocko, Echo, what are your guilty pleasures other than donuts?
And by the way, I don't even like donuts. That's pure Echo right there.
Yeah. You were talking about you had a donut delivery. Sorry, let me finish the question. What are your guilty pleasures other than donuts? Jocko, what do you do when you momentarily give in to a vice or something that you know is bad for you mentally or physically?
I like the fact that the people that are asking, this is actually 2 questions in one. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the fact that this person says, Jocko, what do you do when you momentarily give into a vice? I appreciate that, as if I'm this person that could only for a fraction of a moment give into any form of vice because I am not a human.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
You want to hear the part I appreciate about this 2-part question? The first part asks both of us, specifically Jocko and Echo, what are your guilty pleasures? The second part asks Jocko, overtly excluding my name. So Jocko, what do you do when you momentarily give into a vice or something that you, and the way I see this is that you do something about it if you momentarily give in. Me, if I momentarily give in, like, no one wants to hear my advice because it probably doesn't work.
Oh, because I thought you were going to say because it's just game over at that point.
It is game over. That's what I mean.
Or you could take it that the fact that they don't even think you ever break.
Yeah, that's
but then again, you talk about eating sleeves of Oreo cookies on here, so that's an issue. But to get down to it, obviously.
Wait, what are your guilty pleasures, though?
Guilty pleasures. Number 1, first and foremost, mint chocolate chip ice cream. And especially mint chocolate chip ice cream milkshakes. And I do some twisted things in my brain to kind of convince myself that those are actually good for me and that they contain, just enough carbs and there's some protein in there and there's some fat and it's actually like a full good meal, which is just a big lie because it's a big sugar bomb.
It's like a supplement.
Right. So, but I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. I really love chocolate milk too. Mm-hmm. And there's been these articles floating around the internet that say that it's the best post-workout thing you can get. Yeah. And that's another thing. It's like, okay, but the reality is it's sugar in milk. So again, I'll twist that one in my head, and sometimes for 10 minutes I'll convince myself that really that is the right thing to do. Right. Obviously, we've discussed on here before those little damn pretzel wrapped hot dogs that they serve in the airport that have some kind of butter or something on them that just, damn.
Yeah, it's dope.
I don't know who invented those things, but God bless them. And then, the normal crap foods, the potato chips, the french fries, the whatever, the junk. Okay? So, am I immune to the genetic evolutions that human beings have been through that make us desire sugary foods and the endorphins going off and firing your head? No, I'm not immune to those things. I'll tell you, when I do, first of all, I like to earn those things, right? I either earn them on the front end or the back end, like one way or the other. Like I either busted my ass and it did a couple days of hard working out, and all of a sudden I'm out with my kid and we're swinging by, and all of a sudden I see there's a little ice cream shop in the corner. You know what? Hey, let's get a little ice cream, a little go time. And one thing when I do it, I don't like have guilt. Yeah. When I'm sitting there, I'm not going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Yeah. No, I say, man, this is awesome. This ice cream milkshake tastes great. That's great. But later on, either that night or the next day, I earn that thing. Mm-hmm. Put a little punishment in place, a little punitive reprimand for slack behavior. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the thing you got to be careful of is that it is a slippery slope. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, like one potato chip can lead to 20, and it does lead to 20. And even that is like, okay, understand we had a derailment, right? Mm-hmm. But don't let one day of bad food lead to another day of bad food and no working out. That's what happens. That's what makes you slide off the rails. And actually, I mean, there's like Tim Ferriss, he's got that thing where he does, it's something like 6 days in a row of eating super clean. And then on the 7th day, you actually, it's not just cheat day. You have to like just get after it because your body has to get the shock of carbs and all this stuff. Yeah. There's another big lie. Like you can twist your day and all of a sudden be like, well, Tim Ferriss did say that I gotta. But you do have to be careful of the slippery slope. That for me, that's what I think happens. I don't believe in the stuff that you use up your willpower throughout the day and you use up your discipline. I believe that your discipline decisions create more disciplined decisions. Mm-hmm. Now, if I do just have a disaster of a day, or if I have, let's say for whatever reason, I have a 2-day just gluttonous train wreck binge where I just, for whatever, I lose the bubble, and there's could be any number of things that could cause that. Maybe, it's like multiple, I don't know, bad situation with travel, then with an event, then with something. Then I come home and it's a birthday party, and the only thing to eat is pizza. And I'm like, you know what? And it's just done, right? Yep. Is it better to hold the line? Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. But if I do have one of those situations, then I'll usually react to that. I'll earn it later. If I go on just a terrible food thing, I'll do some kind of a fast. I'll do like a 24-hour fast, maybe even a 48-hour fast. I haven't done a 72-hour, but I'm gearing up to do a 72-hour.
What do you just drink water?
Yeah, just drink water.
Dang.
Just drink water. I did the 48-hour, and it was actually nothing. It was like no problem, no factor. I did everything normal, squatted, went surfing, did jiu-jitsu. There was like some guys on the mat, and I was talking to Big Eric, Big Eric. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, I got to tell you something when we got done training. This is on the 2nd day of doing it. And so we trained a bunch and, it was no factor. And he's like, what were you going to tell me? And I said, I haven't eaten for 48 hours. And I said, I'm just trying this out. And I feel completely normal. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'll do to recover. And then I'll just do some kind of, psycho kind of hardcore workout. A body in motion tends to stay in motion, and a body at rest tends to stay in rest. Don't let the momentum start going the wrong way. You know what I mean? Get that body back in motion. Get back on track. Snap yourself back into the discipline. Yeah. Crush some workouts. Get after it. And get on that path. The path of discipline and strength, and stay there.
You mentioned the giving into the brain that you are evolved to have or whatever, and that's like seeking out sugar and fat and,
Fat's not bad.
Right, but that's what you're evolved to want, and it's for a reason. So, put simply, back when you were a caveman, you didn't know when the next meal was coming from. Yep. So, if you get that honey or that sugar, that big calorie meal, eat as much as you can. So your brain's still like that. So a good tactic, and I use this, and it crazily it worked. It worked for drinking. I mentioned this to you before, where you just understand that your brain is in a way playing a trick on you, and if you give in, literally, by this model, you just fell for a trick, and so now you know that, right? So you're falling for a trick that is played on you by your own brain because it thinks you're still a caveman. So you see these donuts or cake or, I don't know, pizza, something delicious and fatty.
You mean what you had for dinner tonight?
Yeah. You see my dinner, and your brain is...
Hey, this is one of those situations, though. It's your daughter's birthday party, right? You got the family over. What are you going to do? Put them all on a paleo diet for the evening? Well, no, you're going to get them some pizza and ice cream, and it's all good, and it's a little bit of cake for Echo Charles.
Technically, that was lunch, and then I had a salad for dinner.
Okay, good job.
Technically.
Good job. See, you disciplined yourself. In the spirit of accuracy. Back on the track. Yeah, I like that.
But so if you understand that you just fell for a trick right there, so now going forward, if I have these cravings or, that donut looks delicious in whatever way, you're about to actively and consciously fall for a trick right now. Yep. There's no scarcity of food right now. There's an abundance of food.
And it's a perfect phrase for this? Don't be a sucker.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Don't be a sucker.
Like how often is it like that's like one of the worst things someone can tell you.
That's
hey
what I
man,
think, too.
you were a sucker.
That's
on
why
that.
it worked so
and
good.
that's why it worked for you.
Yeah.
Don't be a sucker.
Yeah.
So don't be a sucker to that piece of your brain that's trying to trick you.
Yeah.
Into wanting stuff that's actually bad for you.
Yeah. So and so how the trick works is your brain is saying, "Hey, those donuts, those are beneficial, and look at all these like you'll get your calories.
Yeah.
Who knows when they're gonna come?" That's what your brain is. That's how it feels.
They're gonna come when you order Domino's.
Yeah, yeah. That's the reality. But your brain's not telling you that.
Yeah.
It's giving you a credit because you need all those calories. You don't know when it's gonna come, and look at all these benefits. It's gonna taste good, and this is what you need. That's what your brain is telling you. This is what you need. But the reality is, you don't live in that world anymore, where you can get as many donuts as you want now. So it's tricking you into thinking that the short-term benefits are the benefits, when in reality, since the world we live in now is different, the long-term benefits are the benefits.
Yes.
And they don't involve donuts or drinking.
Don't be a sucker.
Don't be a sucker. Yeah. It helps, man. It helps.
like it.
If you care about being a sucker, though, that's the thing. If you're like, I don't care about being a sucker, then
There's no one that
maybe
likes
find
being a
another
sucker,
way.
though.
That's what I think, too.
Yeah.
That's what I think, too.